Hello, it's those Utah sisters, and in this video, we are explaining Ultimate Connect 4 and how to use this in your classroom. So, the first thing you need to do is download this PowerPoint template. If you right click on it and click open in a new tab, it's going to open in like the Google version or the Microsoft version of PowerPoint. You can project this directly. If you would like to change it at all, just click File, create a copy, and then download a copy right here once it loads. Sorry, mine is not loading right now, but click download a then it will actually open up as a real PowerPoint, which sometimes is easier to play with in your classroom because then you can edit the number of rows or the columns or whatever you choose to do. So you're going to want to download that. And then you will want Connect Four Dots. Now I say these can be whiteboard markers. You could just use like a regular whiteboard marker, but you will need different colors. Or you can use magnet circles pre-cut for this game. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that right here. These are actually what I use in my classroom. So I literally just cut out a bunch of cardstock circles and then I put a piece of magnet tape on the back, and that way they can be reused over and over. So I just have 7 different colors of cardstock paper. I cut out like 20 circles each. Well, I actually had my TAs do it, and then I put a little strip of magnet on the back. So that's what I use in my class so that I can reuse them. But again, a whiteboard marker is totally fine, or whatever you choose. And then you need a worksheet, one per student, or task cards, whatever you were planning to play with for the day. So you're going to divide your class into teams that correspond to colors. You need to have dots or markers or whatever of each color. Project the template on the whiteboard if possible, that whiteboard PowerPoint template. Students will work individually on their own assignment. Once they finish a problem and check it off, they go to the giant board and they place a dot of their color. The goal of the game is to get the most 4 in a rows. Once they play a dot, they go sit back down and they continue working. I said if they're using whiteboard markers, they'll just color like a circle on the dot in one of the boxes. The game continues with different students placing dots and trying to get 4 in a rows. You can set class rules regarding floating pieces. So in regular Connect 4, if you play a piece, it just immediately drops to the bottom of the board. This version is a little bit harder and recommended for older grades. If you do teach younger grades, it's fine to allow floating pieces, just whatever you choose to do. What I mean by a floating piece, I have a picture of that as well. This was an example I played with younger games right here. So do you see how these like blue pieces are floating? In regular Connect 4, this blue piece would drop all the way down to the bottom. So this would be a floating board right here. And you can choose. The floating board is easier. The non-floating board where it has to drop to the bottom is a little harder, and we recommend that for older grades. So that's just up to you. Then, if someone accidentally plays a floating piece and you're saying no floating pieces, I just slide it down to the bottom of the column if I notice it. When the time is up, you just count up how many Connect Fours each team got. The team with the most 4 in a rows wins. So it's not just first team to get a 4 in a row. Some teams end with 7, some teams end with 2. It's just the most 4 in a rows win. Like I said, there are tons of different options. You can also use different colored post-it notes for the pieces, expo markers, cut out circles, and use magnetic tape, etc., etc. It's super easy. It is one of my class's favorites. If you decide to give this a try in your classroom, please be sure to tag us at those Utah Sisters.